right. Good evening.
How we doing?
How's everybody?
Doing well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Here. Everybody warmed up.
Oh yeah.
I think we hit a high of 20 degrees today.
I know. Cool. I had to throw an extra pair of socks on.
And he's still walking around in shorts.
Oh yeah.
Crazy man. Crazy man. All right. Welcome everybody. Not that we have anybody on with us quite yet, but we okay. I don't see you listed. I'm here. I'm here, Lauren. Mom.
Oh, okay.
She just make the comment. No, Joe Stinger did. High of 41 down there today.
See, that's chilly.
Yeah.
Pensacola, Florida got, I don't know, 10 inches of snow.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh my God. I mean, I understand that's like on up there towards Alabama, I guess. I have my
the
geography right.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, good. We got people jumping on board. So we're going to have a special guest right around the 7 o'clock hour. We're going to talk some football with him. But we got a lot to go over right now to get caught up with our fantasy football, basketball, and hockey.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
John, are you ready?
I am ready. Fantasy football, we're going to start there because that's what everybody's looking for. We're closest to closing this out season here. We got Stephen White is up on top at the moment during the divisional round. We got Mike McCullough in second. I'm there in third. Henry's hanging around. He's made a surge there in fourth place. Matt Doherty and Henry Zadell. Randy Bachman Jr. and Rob Ozick is there. So you guys are all doing well right now, and it's coming down to the last 3 games. And some of those people at the top of the leaderboards have some of the Ravens, so they're going to struggle a little bit. And, yeah, so that's going to hurt them a little bit, depending on how these next 2 games go, or 3 games go. So, that's good. And then in the all important factor, the hosts are winning 4,390 to 4,055. So we're kicking butt there, and we should take that victory home for us there. In the hockey performance, we got Cheryl is still on top. She's kicking butt there.
Wow.
Yep. Good job, Cheryl. We got Adam and Kevin Burgess flip-flopped, and Jack jumped up there to 4th, and Brian Rooney slipped back down a little bit to 5th. We got Melanie. Melanie jumped up there, and Ryan Skinner. So it's looking good. Lauren, I think you're in the top 10 now, I believe.
Wow.
Yep, you're there at 10, and Carl, you're there around 16, I guess it is, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, yeah. So you and Joe Stinger jumped up on the board. So good job, Joe, and Tom Kineen is there as well. We got a lot of our fan favorites here up there on that leaderboard. You're not seeing my name on that one because I didn't do so well. I'm not liking it. Not liking it so far. But basketball,
you should do more like me.
I know. I had to follow you. You
more like me.
Exactly. And then our basketball, we got going there, and this is where I'm liking it because I'm right there at the top of basketball because I know my ball. And then Jennifer's there as well.
She knows her ball. She knows her ball too.
Yeah, she's cheating off of the kids at school. And then Lewis is there. Arthur and Lewis and Kyle and Brian Brown, Scotty Black. So we got, and then Tyler's up there as well. So we're doing well with the basketball. It's going well, and again, all 3 of them, the hosts are winning. So that's the important thing in all three products. So,
all right, good job, everybody.
Yep,
good job.
Exactly. So everybody's doing it, and just keep up with the responses and keep it doing your changes when you guys get knocked out. Players get hurt. Make sure you make your changes. so that you can go and keep climbing up that ladder board. Yep, Joe, you're moving up. Emily, you're beating Henry in the basketball. So I don't know if that was shown on there, but you are beating Henry in basketball.
Good job, Em.
Yeah,
Good job.
and
All right. I guess, I mean, I was hoping to have Anthony, but he got caught up at work. So, because I wanted to talk a little Hall of Fame baseball with him, because I know that's his thing. But pretty cool that Billy Wagner, you were with him last year at the Hot Stovers banquet.
Yes,
And,
he was one of the speakers. Yep.
Yeah, and this year he gets elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I know he was close last year. Pretty cool that he's going in. I was a big fan of Ichiro. I followed him through his career, and CC Sabathia for the modern day players. So there's three new names to go along with Dick Allen and Dave Parker for the Veterans Committee. So the Phillies have, there'll be a little red pinstripes in the audience because we've got a couple of guys, going into the Baseball Hall of Fame. So that's very cool.
Yeah. Do you think Billy Wagner goes in as a Philly or with the Astros? Because I saw the picture with the Astros. I'm seeing
probably not, but he still played for Philly, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was a fan favorite here. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He didn't play on very good teams, but
although they booed him when he hit 99 on the gun at one time.
Yeah.
But it was also a good show, and Chase Utley moved up a lot in the rankings there.
Well, that was my next question, comment, whatever, kind of, sort of, because Larry Bow was a little ticked off that Jimmy Rollins didn't get more votes or more consideration, because he feels that his numbers qualify, and he seems to be a little ticked off.
Well, he should. He also won an MVP. He's got a World Series, under his belt. So he should definitely be up there as well. Because Utley's up to almost 40% of the votes, and Rollins only got 71 votes. Out of it so far, and he's actually behind Bobby Abreu at the moment for Phillies players.
Yeah.
Only at 18% of the votes.
Yeah.
So
and I'm shocked that Howard's not getting the more positive vote either. Not that I just
those years that he had before his injury were monumental. What is that?
Monumental.
Yeah, monumental. There you go. They were historic numbers that he put up. Over those 5 years.
Yeah, I just don't think it's enough to carry him through.
Yeah, it was a shorter period.
Of the big three, I think Rollins probably has the best shot to make it. What do you guys think?
Well, they seem to really be into guys who do a lot off the field as well, and I just feel like Chase really gave a lot to Major League Baseball. He moved over to London, his whole family over to London to really spread the game there. And that culminated with obviously this past summer or 2024 summer. So I think maybe he gets in first.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I think Rollins follows behind, but I don't know that Ryan gets in.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to probably be just short. It'll be interesting to see because next year, Emily's boy Cole Hamels is going to be on the ballot for the first time. So, he may be the next guy that might even jump ahead of maybe Jimmy Rollins because he's before getting in there, and not that it's deserved, as deserving or whatnot, for Jimmy Rollins, but because that is a little low for Jimmy Rollins for for what he's done at shortstop, the numbers that he's put up. The most hits for Phillies players, MVP like we were talking about earlier. And,
Right.
You know, I don't know that he didn't win the Gold Glove, which he was, I guess, is probably maybe an issue, but he's had a lot of other numbers that he put up there that's well deserving as well. So,
what's Joe trying to say? Maybe they're afraid of what he would say.
Meaning Utley?
Yeah, like dropping the F-bomb at the.
I think he might reel it in for that.
You think? Yeah.
I think he was talking about Wagner playing for the Mets.
Yeah, what he would say. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Joe's talking about on Utley. But did Wagner? He didn't play very long for the Mets, did he?
No, I don't believe. Like maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
It wasn't much.
Yeah.
Probably going to go in as an Astro. I would assume. But
yeah, I guess.
But how about this one person not voting for Ichiro? That's just that guy's got to get his card revoked. Just like the one person that didn't vote for Jeter, which they're saying might be the same person.
Just because.
Yeah, just because you're not voting for him the first year.
And that's and that shouldn't be allowed.
Right.
Like just out of spite or just to be that guy, that shouldn't be allowed.
Right. And I mean, and that one person, voted for the closer Mariano Rivera, for the Yankees. So it's not like it's a New York thing, since he, one didn't vote for Jeter, and Mariano got in there. So, but it's just weird that it just to not have a unanimous, on Ichiro. I mean,
I'm just excited to see like 5 guys, all of different, makes and models, and just such a diverse group. I think I can't speak for him, but I think if Anthony was here, he would say that he finally got it right. They got it, right this year. They're realizing now that if you put guys in of all across the spectrum, then people will come to the Hall of Fame and spend money in Cooperstown and spend money. So the years when you don't put anybody in out of spite, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Exactly.
So, you're just going to have such a huge group of people converge on that spot. And all that does is help the game of baseball. It helps the Hall of Fame. It helps Cooper's. I mean, it's such a wide thing that it supports. And so I think they finally got something right, because baseball tends to be pretty behind. I mean, Dad, as you know, they put in 10, 12 guys at a time for football. And I realize there's obviously a bigger roster for football than there is for baseball and that sort of thing. But, just the idea that, there's nobody to put in this year. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm pretty certain it's the smallest Hall of Fame of at least the 4 major sports as far as who's in it. And I think it's just incredibly high standard sometimes. So I think he would say that they finally just got it right.
Yeah. And they were saying next year's class is a little bit lesser, with Cole Hamels being the one big name going, in that for next year. That Andrew Jones and who was the other player that was up there? There was another player that should automatically get in next year because of it, and which will help Rollins, maybe his case as well. More people will vote for him next year.
And you also got past all the steroid guys. You know what I mean? They ran through their 10 years and now they're off, which makes room for other people. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
All right. So we covered that. Tell Anthony he missed a great segment.
Okay.
But quickly touch base. The Philadelphia Flyers are playing really well.
6 games is it now with the point? 6 straight games.
They're playing really well. They're playing some really good hockey. The coach kind of maybe just figured out some good lines to keep guys together, and they're playing good. They're playing good. They seem like they're competitive every night. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully that can continue because they've got some talent on the team. I don't know. I don't know that they have enough. They certainly, could use a few more pieces, but it'll be interesting to see what they do come around the trade deadline. But everybody seems to be chipping in, and it's good to see them being aggressive and putting a good effort out every night. So,
yeah,
unlike the 76ers, who just seem to have quit, folded up, and gone home. I mean, they were crucified last night in Denver, but Denver's a top team.
they're a good team.
They're the defending champs, and I mean, you're trying to, you're just not going to compete on most nights. So, it's just sad to see because we had such high expectations for this year. So
some did. I did because I thought, that the big three, being that they were healthy, was going to be a good nucleus filled in with all the other pieces that it could work. It could be competitive, but it just never came to be. And we don't know if Joel will play another game this year or next or the following year. So, if he's hurt, with that knee and still needs something done, just get it done now. And the year's almost ready to go anyway. So, I mean, you're not, move on for next year, get healthy.
Move on like we're going to do. We're going to move on and we're going to talk some Eagles football.
Yeah.
Because we've got a great game coming up Sunday. I mean, I hate rushing the days by because, man, it's January 22nd already.
I know, this year's flying.
I mean, we need to slow it down a little bit, you know what I mean? But I need Sunday to get here, because I'm pretty damn excited about Sunday at 3:00. So,
is this thing called the NFC Championship? Is that anything important?
It's a little bit, just a little bit. You win Sunday, and you're going for the big one.
Yeah.
So
going to New Orleans.
NOLA, baby.
Yeah.
NOLA. So pretty excited about that. I'm reading and seeing that Jalen is going to play. Quinyon Mitchell's going to play. So they may not be 100%, but I'll take them both at 75, 80%. Compared to what San Francisco had to go through a few years ago when they didn't even have a quarterback. So,
right.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an exciting game. Deep down inside, I think the Eagles have a little score to settle with Washington from the last game.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I mean, I say that and then I retract it because all they want to do is win and move on. So, what are you guys thinking?
Go ahead, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be, they're the better team. They're not going to be able to stop Barkley. And does anybody realize that Barkley's only 147 yards away from the single season rushing record for including the playoffs? So hopefully he gets that, tonight or, on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So the Eagles do run the ball?
Yeah, that's pretty much all they do.
Yep. Sure is.
Pretty much all they do, which is good. It's working, and they got a great defense. And they run it except for week 18. They don't run on week 18. But I'm doing that for you, Tommy, since you're on there with us. But I mean, and Washington is the 30th ranked rush defense, so that just is a good thing, a good combination to have both of them going there. The number one Russian defense against basically one of the lower ranked teams, stopping the defense. So I mean, looking for a big game for Barkley, and then we'll go from there. They probably should. They probably should sit him. I was thinking the same thing. I knew you would be saying something about that. I think they should rest them because what does this game matter, right? Just like the other one. Yeah,
them two, just in case, just to bring everybody up to date. them two been going at it. So.
Oh yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And, it's a good matchup. Although, like I was telling you earlier today, I think I would have been better off. I would have felt a little bit more comfortable going against Detroit than Washington. Having them see us for the third time as well, knowing what we can do. Dan Quinn is a good defensive coordinator to. Has stopped us in the past. Do
you really, deep down in your brain, do you really honestly believe yourself that you'd rather play Detroit than Washington?
I would have, yes, only because Detroit was they just kept losing player after player. If you asked me this 6-8 weeks ago, probably not.
If I'd asked you last week.
Well, after the games, yes. If you would ask me after the games, yeah. I mean, before the games, probably not. Yeah, probably not. Because nobody expected Washington to do what they did.
Exactly.
To put up 45 points on Detroit.
Right.
I mean, they weren't able to stop the run in that game either. But I mean, it's and then you got the Jaden Daniel factor. I mean, he's playing well right at the moment.
He's good. He's a good quarterback. He's a good young quarterback.
And we just haven't seen, because we haven't really needed to. The Eagles have to have a shootout like that where they needed to put up 35, 40 points in any of the games, because we've been in control of the games earlier with the running game, and
But how's our defense, John? Where are they ranked?
Oh, they're number one.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, but
I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss something and they slipped to 2 or 3 or something.
Oh, no. But and also remember that Washington put up 22 on that number one defense in the fourth quarter the last time we played them, even though Jalen was hurt, but Jalen doesn't play defense.
CJ got kicked out of the game.
He did.
Right? So, so
he's got to keep himself in check. He's got to keep himself in check.
Gets the boot. Devontae Smith catches the ball. I mean, we're talking about a whole different game. And then because the Eagles are the better, they got the more talent on their team. The whole dynamics of that game changed.
With Hurts going out.
With Hurts, there's no doubt.
Right.
So, what he left in first quarter.
Yeah, it was like, what was it, the second drive? Or no, actually, I think it was early in the second drive.
So
they scored on the first drive with them, and then
the dynamics of all of that changed, and then you went through the whole Pickett, Tanner McKee, thing. Everybody, everybody was, there's quarterback controversy, so the whole thing, kind of went stupid.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, but we also got five turnovers in that game, so and still end up losing that game. So I mean, that's also an issue that you got to think about. Like, are we going to get 5 turnovers again in the game?
Well, the way this defense is playing, I'll throw my money down on the defense.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I mean, Washington. The defense is playing well.
This defense has. They seem to be getting stronger as the season goes on.
Yeah.
The boys, all them Georgia boys, they like the smell of a championship ring.
Oh no, I hear you. No, and but no, that's the only. And it's not a concern that we're going to lose the game. I just think it would be an easier.
Well, the old cliche, they can't beat themselves.
Right. Exactly.
So, they need to. They need to come out. They need to be ready. And I think a nice 40-degree sunny afternoon at the Link in South Philly will, just absolutely, be what we're looking for.
Exactly.
Kind of like them days. Kind of like them days at the vet, the 700 level at the vet, cheering on them 1980 Eagles.
Yeah. Well, we can check in with our guest here and see if those fans were helping the team or not in 1980. How are we doing, Tony?
Hey, I'm doing good, John. How are you?
Good.
Welcome to the
Hello.
show.
Hey, Carl. How you doing, brother?
Good. Doing
Good to
really
see you.
well. You know Lauren. She's the.
I do. How you doing, dear?
She's
Good.
the
How are you?
I'm fine for an
Yep.
old guy. Thanks for
Yep.
asking.
She knows more. She knows more than John and I both. She puts
Right.
us. She keeps us in place. So
Definitely not, but thank you.
how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. First off, let me send my condolences out to the Berge family and all the Eagles Nation. Man, that was a hell of a loss. He was a great player and a great friend. But I just wanted to say that first and foremost.
Appreciate that.
absolutely.
Prayers to the Berge
Prayers to
family.
Mickey and all the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure. We were just talking about playing in Philadelphia and so what was it like back in the day at the vet? A championship type atmosphere with the fans, and what was that all like?
It was really kind of surreal that whole season. We started out really well, and then we had a kind of a mid-season lull, and then we kind of picked it up at the end of the season, and we managed to win the division, and only had to play a couple of games to get to the Super Bowl. And at that time, we had the number one defense in the National Football League. We had a great defense, and I think we were the number one ranked special teams in the NFL that season also. So, it's like Raymond Berry, my old coach in New England, says, gentlemen, says offense may win football games, but defense wins championships.
There you go.
There's a lot of truth in that.
There you go.
And the defense kept us in a lot of games when we were kind of having some issues until we got those ironed out. And then the offense got us in a position to win the game, but the defense always kept us in the game for us. And I think when we played that game against Dallas, that first defensive series that we had, we stuffed them on the first play, and then they tried to run a screen, and John Bunning ate that son of a gun up for about a 10-yard loss. And then Claude Humphrey had Danny White by the jersey and kind of wrung him out, and he threw the ball out, and they punted, and 2 plays later we scored. And I think that lit the fuse, man. That lit us up the rest of the game.
Nice.
Right.
Hey, I was reluctant to introduce our guest, Tony Franklin, the barefoot kicker from the 1980 NFC Championship team. I'll put you right on the spot. New England or Philadelphia?
As far as what?
I don't know. Your favorite city?
I liked both of them very much. Philly was the fans were unlike anywhere else. Period. End of story. New England has some crazy fans too, but the fans in Philly, they were something else. And if you were playing well, they really supported you. If you were playing poor, they'd let you know about it, brother. I mean, and that's the way it should be. You're a professional. You should do well. And but I enjoyed New England also.
Right.
It was fun. Boston's, great seafood. Of course, we had great seafood in Philly also, and great Italian food. So, I mean, I loved it both. That was a time in my life where, I was kind of in awe when I first stepped into Philadelphia. I was a 21-year-old kid that had never been out of Texas my entire life. And I go up there and I listened to all these guys talking, yo, ho, how you doing, pal? And then I'd look at them and say, I would talk to them and they say, hey, you come here, listen to this guy talk, making fun of me. So it was kind of interesting at first. But, the people in Philly are great sports fans, and they're very warm-hearted people. And I enjoyed my time there. But as far as picking one between the other, that's a hard choice, Carl. It really is. I really can't make that distinction.
That's all right. That's the answer I was looking for, because you're a true professional. So it's good to It's good to you enjoyed both spots and had a great career in both towns. So
Well, thank you very much. I
yeah,
appreciate
for sure. Johnny, what do you got?
Well, Tony, how's you were kind of having the same situation playing, like you said, Dallas for in the third time in the playoffs there, and
Yeah.
this will be Washington's third time. How much does that, do you think, help or hurt a team?
Well, you kind of have an idea what the team's going to throw at you.
Right.
Number one, defensively, and you're going to sit there and study film and find ways to try and stop their offense. Those guys are really good, man. That kid has come in there and done a great job at quarterback. But, I remember we played Dallas in 1980 in the championship. It's a clean slate. Each team has won one game.
Right.
This is root hog or die, no holds bar now,
Yeah.
for a game. And you're going to do everything you can to, strike fast, strike hard, and try and deflate and, make those guys feel sorry for themselves. Hey, do I really want to be here? I mean, when we played that game, brother, at kickoff, I think it was like 20 degrees it was 17 degrees and the chill factor was like minus 21 or 2. It was cold.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was really cold. And, once we scored and we stayed on top, I think maybe that kind of took some of the air out of them because those guys down in Dallas aren't playing in that kind of cold weather.
Right.
So, if you can get up quick and don't give them any hope, that's the thing. If you've got them down, it's kind of like Dracula, man. You got to go ahead and drive the stake through the heart and, get it done and over with. That's the mentality you have to have. I'm not trying to be, violent or anything, but that's just the kind of mentality you have to have.
Yep.
You get somebody down, you got to keep them down.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as we saw, obviously Jalen got hurt in their last game, but
Right.
we were up 14-0,
Right.
on them, and they ended up coming back. And
I actually was listening to that game. That was an interesting football game.
right.
It really was. And I thought Philly was going to cruise on that one, but stranger things happen, brother. It's a strange game, and it's at some time anything is possible.
Yeah.
I didn't think that Detroit would lose.
Yeah.
And the way they had played all year, but they'd had so many injuries on defense. They were playing on borrowed time till somebody got them.
Sure.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
But nothing taken away from the Redskins. I think Dan Quinn's done one hell of a job. And how does that make Jerry Jones look, huh?
Right. That's also the good thing here in Philadelphia too.
Yeah. How does that make Jerry Jones look? I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, just let him go.
I think, I think the key to the ball game is going to be Philly's defense against the Commanders' offense. I think that's really going to be the game inside the game.
Right.
Offensively, if the Redskins are able to stop Saquon Barkley the way the Eagles' pass offense has kind of been lately, I don't think they can win by just throwing the football. So they're going to have to be able to run the football to set up their passing game. And although, Washington, they can just drop back and throw it. That kid's good enough that, they can beat you passing. But I think if Philly's defense shows up, I think they win.
Yeah. How much do you think Jake Elliott, with his struggles right now, can affect the game?
Well, any kicker can affect the game.
Right.
Well, I went through a rough patch in Philly one time, and it's tough. The biggest thing you can't do when you're kicking the football is second guess yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go and keep your head in the game, keep your confidence, and just keep swinging the leg. I think it's just something very small mechanically that he's doing. And, unless you go back and really get some film work of yourself, looking at it and looking at things you're doing, compare it with what you're doing when you're kicking the ball really well as to what's happening when you're not kicking the ball so good, you can generally figure out some things that may be going wrong mechanically. And I think, he's got a great leg. I've always thought he was in the top 5 or 6 kickers in the league. And I think he's just going through a little stretch. And my advice to him is just stay confident.
Right.
I always tried to kick a 50-yard field goal with the same motion as I did an extra point. That way you're not over kicking it, causing yourself strain and stress. Just you've kicked it a million times, brother. Just do what you do. And sometimes you can think too much about it. And that may be what he's doing. He just needs to forget about it and just go ahead and go out there and kick the ball.
Yeah. Well, what do you think could cause those things? Because after the last game, he's the most accurate field goal kicker in playoff history, and
right,
and it also then became the least most accurate, in the extra points. I mean, it's a little different than your game,
it's really strange because you don't consciously feel that you're doing anything different,
right?
I could always tell what I was kind of doing a little bit, and then Lynn Stiles, when I would look at film with him, and when I was in New England with Dante Scarnecchia, we just look at film. Hey, this is what you're doing when you're kicking the ball really well. Looks like your plant foot may be moving up a little bit too close to the ball, or this and that, which makes it goes right or left. And so you go back and you just try and plot out and find the small and little things that are going on that you may be doing subconsciously, and then look at it and then just change it and just see what happens.
Well, Michael Clay, you might get a kick out of this one. Michael Clay's the special teams coach for the Eagles. He thinks that because the Eagles score too fast, it hurts Jake Elliott with the extra points.
What does that got to do with it? I'm sorry.
Well, that's what I was hoping.
Like, really?
Yeah,
I think. Hell, I hope everybody scores first rattle out of the box, first play of the game. That's not going to make any difference.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying the guy's not all there or anything, but I don't think that has anything to do.
Yeah, Carl and I kind of had the same thoughts, but it was, he was saying that it didn't give Jake Elliott enough time to prepare for the extra points because they scored so fast. And I'm like, and I was just thinking, as a novice, you might have a little bit better,
here's
insight.
The thing.
But
usually,
Jake Elliott's calling you.
Honey, I'm on a podcast. Oh, okay, bye. Okay, that's Mama. Anyway, usually when you've gone into pregame warmups and everything, you're already loose, especially if the other team kicks off. Okay, you're already loose. He should be loose, stretched out and loose anyway, and it shouldn't. I don't think that has anything to do with it. That's just my opinion, and we all know what opinions are like. But I'm just saying that I don't think that's really a viable excuse.
I kind of think he was trying to take some pressure off.
I think he was too, and I admire him for it.
Right.
Yeah. Kudos to him for trying to help.
Yeah.
But I just think that he just needs to relax and go back to what he was doing. Don't press the situation.
100%.
You make it or you don't. If you make it, great. If you don't, forget about it. Make the next one.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's all you can do. If you don't, you'll go crazy.
Yeah.
You'll pull your hair out and you'll look like me and Carl.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lauren, what do you got?
So, question for you, more college football related. So, obviously, you've kicked a few really good kicks in college as well. But Monday night, it's 31-23, and Ohio State brings in their field goal kicker to basically ice the game. So, what kind of pressure is that kid feeling? And then once he hits it, I mean, he's just obviously over the moon excited for that. But what does that feel like? What does that look like, especially from your perspective?
Well, I've been there before. I've been in a situation where, what was really cool was my senior year at A&M. Ron Meyer, who was the coach at SMU, later traded for me and got me into New England out of Philadelphia. But my senior year, I kicked like a 40-yard field goal with like 6 seconds left to beat them, which got our team into a bowl game.
Right.
We had to win a certain number of games to get into a bowl game.
Yeah.
So you kind of know what's on the line, but you just have to go out there with the attitude of, hey, how many times have I done this before?
Right.
How many times have I kicked this angle? How many times have I marked my steps the same way? That's, if you think about stuff like that and not about the situation, usually it's not going to bother you.
But is there any way to do that? I mean, is there any way that kid went out there and thought, this is just like any other field goal?
Absolutely. I mean, you have to keep that mentality. One of the things that my college coach always did, which kind of helped everything, he said, all right, when I blow the whistle, we got 15 seconds to get out on the field and kick this 56-yard field goal to win the football game. So he'd blow his whistle and off we went, man. And we would get it off. And when you're in a hurry or in a situation like that, you're just worried about getting set up and getting the ball off. And it worked great for me all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that if you've had a good year, you're not going to think about missing the kick. Here's the number one thing about place kicking. It's the biggest distance is between your ears.
Mm-hmm.
If you go out on the field with any kind of doubts, odds are you're not going to make the kick. You have to go out there confident in your deep snapper and the guys that block for you and your holder. And by the way, I had the greatest snapper for all 10 years of my career, the late Guy Morris. We got him in New England after I was traded, and he got cut in Philly. They said, you know anybody that can snap? And I said, yes. And they brought Guy in, and they signed him on the spot. And he was a true master of snapping the ball back. He had the rotations back every time. All John Shira or Ron Jaworski would have to do is just catch it and set it, because the seams were perfectly straight the way that I was going to kick the ball. Same way in New England with Tony Eason as my holder. I mean, and I always had great blocking in Philly and in New England. So when you've got stuff like that going on for you, you don't have to worry about anything else but just going out there and putting it between the posts.
Right.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on icing the kicker? What's
That was funny. I guess that year we went to the Super Bowl. We played Minnesota in the first round of the playoffs. We got a first round bye, and it's cold as hell in Philly, man. It's snow and ice on the ground, and it's late in the game, and I think we're up by maybe 5 or 6 points, and we go out to kick a field goal, and Bud Grant calls timeout. And I'm standing out there, and Ron O'Neill, our assistant trainer there, comes out and brings me a towel, and I just wrap it around my foot and stand. And I'll never forget that. I wrapped it around my foot and just stood there while they waited on the timeout, and the fans at the vet saw that and they started cheering. It was hilarious. I'll never forget that. Yeah. And I ended up making the kick, and we ended up, winning. And we ended up playing Dallas in the championship after that. But icing the kicker sometimes works, but a lot of times it doesn't, because, it's the same mentality. Hey, different kick. You know what you have to do. Just do your job.
Do your job. Do your job.
I've heard that a time or two.
Johnny, what do you got?
What do you think your opinions on kickers not kicking off anymore? Is that affecting?
Here's the thing. When I was playing, they didn't have that much information on leg strength and exercises and drills for kickers to do. The kids coming in these days are just bashing it out of the park every time they're kicking it. There's no change in the football, but all they worried about us doing when I was playing that 45 years ago when I started, God, that's old, was worried about your flexibility, full range of motion. And it's like a golf swing, it's range of motion, but these kids are getting stronger and stronger, and they're just bashing the ball. So I think that the one thing I don't like about today's kicking game is that there's no surprise element. You can't do a surprise onside anymore, which I think is that's hurting the game. I don't like that. As far as the guys kicking it out, I mean, you get into the cold season, some of them are going to be able to kick it out, but a lot of them aren't. If they're going to run the ball back, at least they're running the ball back now a little bit. So I guess that makes it exciting for the fans, but I just don't see the use of it.
Yeah.
Totally opposite of what we've been talking about. Have you talked to your good friend Bill Bradley lately?
I haven't seen or talked to Bill since the last time I saw you guys when I was up, but I got his number and I'm going to call him. I'm glad you said something because I've been meaning to do that. He is a trip. I mean, they broke the mold when they made that boy. I'm going to
Well, and I bring that up only because the weekend that you were with us in Philly, he was also in Philly that weekend.
I remember that.
He was also, and I was like, I should have done my best to get you two together, but
that would have been fun. I see him all the time at a lot of the golf tournaments around Texas, and he is a lot of fun. He is a lot of fun. What a great guy.
Yeah, he's got some great stories.
Oh yeah, he's royalty, brother. He really is. At least he thinks he is.
You know what? They broke the mold when they got him out there. I haven't had a chance to pick up the book, but he just came out with his book, and I understand.
Well, I'll get a call into him, and I've got your number, and I'll call you and let you know how he's doing, Carl.
Yeah. Character.
He is.
Great guy. And when we were talking about it at the store a little bit, I just had to ask you because, you know.
He was the Texas High School Player of the Year as a quarterback at Palestine.
Yep.
And played defensive back both.
Yeah, he was a hell of a ball player. Yep.
Yeah, he was a natural. He was a great ball player.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool.
What time's the kickoff Sunday up there?
3:00.
3:00. So that's 2:00 here. Ooh, I'll be in front of the team. Man, it was 19 degrees here in San Antonio this morning.
I was just going to say to you, how you liking this cold weather?
I'm liking it. I woke up yesterday morning with snow on the ground, brother, and that don't happen very often.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a little chilly, but it's going to be gradually warming up. I think Sunday will be back up about 63 or 4.
There you go.
Chamber of Commerce weather there.
There you go.
We're getting into the 40s, so I like that.
Well, that's man, that's water skiing weather up there this time of year, brother.
Exactly. You're not kidding.
What looking at? I know we talked a little bit about Philly and Washington. Any thoughts on Buffalo and Kansas City? Because there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, there is a lot of history there. I'd like to see Buffalo win just for the simple fact that, they need to win a Super Bowl. You talk about a hard luck franchise, man.
Yeah.
Really a hard luck franchise. And, Josh Allen is one heck of a player. Of course, Patrick Mahomes being a Texas boy, I always pull for them. But pardon me, I'm not being ugly, but I'm a little done with the romance. And, but I'd like to see Buffalo win just to see if they can maybe win one for that city. They, especially, the Bills Mafia are such great fans. They remind me of the Philly fans and the Boston fans. Everybody loves their team, but I'm kind of interested to see down here in Texas who Dallas is going to hire as their new head coach. I saw where my Aggie buddy, Aaron Glenn's now going to be coaching the Jets. And
God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a T-shirt one time, and I said Jets on it, and I said, well, you know what Jet stands for, don't you? And he said, no, what? I said, just enjoy the suffering. So, I mean, he's going into a tough situation there, and so is the offensive coordinator going to Chicago. He's got a line that they throw nothing but lookout blocks. Their quarterback got beat to hell. It's a good thing he's young and he can recover quick. But it's just kind of interesting how the year has turned out. The usual suspects are playing ball this late in the year. And, I hope Philly does well and wins. I'd like to see Philly and Buffalo. That'd be a nice Super Bowl. That would be fun.
There you go.
I
There
think
you go.
it'd be a nice
Yeah.
change. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think that's what.
I'm pulling for the Eagles, and I'm pulling for the Bills.
I don't know that New Orleans could handle both of those fan bases coming down there, though.
Oh, I think they could. That'd be some rowdy stuff, though, brother.
Oh yeah,
That'd be some
Not kidding.
rowdy stuff.
absolutely.
Of course, New Orleans is a rowdy town,
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
you know,
yeah. That'll be interesting for sure. That's for sure.
So, what are you doing these days to keep yourself busy?
Well, I'm retired, but I've got a buddy of mine that years ago I was in the car business, and I've been everything from a salesman to a general manager, and I trained him in finance years ago, and I retired like 5 years ago at 63, and I just got tired of it. And he's now the general manager at a dealership, and he asked me to come in and help him. So I come in, I help, the finance people sometimes when they need it, but most of the time I'm out there helping in the service department. I'm diabetic now. I'm type 2 diabetic from sitting behind the desk for 25 years. But I walk 3.5 miles today. I take cars off the service drive and drive them down the bottom of the hill, and then I walk back up. That's what I do for about 3 or 4 hours a day to get my exercise in. And my diabetes is doing really good. I'm doing really well.
Good.
So
Excellent.
I'm very blessed. I've had a great career and a great life. I've got a great wife and family, and I've got great memories. And shoot, man, if I went tonight, I'd go a happy man. I've had a great life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
God bless. That's awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Johnny, you have anything else for our barefoot kicker?
Yeah, well, you had mentioned it a little bit. How important is it for the holder for you? Like you said, for your confidence as well. Because Braden Mann with that in this past game, had two nice catches in the bad weather.
Yeah,
that were away from his body, where it was just all hands. And
I think I had one bad snap from Guy Morris my entire 10-year career.
Right. Yeah, you would say
it was a wet. They couldn't keep the balls. They were real slick. It was cold and it was wet, but it was not cold enough for it to ice.
Yeah.
He bounced one off the ground, and Eason did a great job of catching it. And he managed to get the seams out of the way where I didn't kick the seams. But, I never really, John, had to worry about a bad snap or a bad hold, because the two guys that I had, or four guys, Guy and the Tony Eason, New England, and John Sharp. I'm gonna tell you a secret. Jaworski was one hell of a holder. Ron Jaworski was a great holder, and so I never had to worry about that. So, that I know when you've got. I've watched some of these college games, and these guys are all over everywhere, and the guy has to dang near stand up to catch the ball and get it down on the ground and stuff like that. That makes it hard on a kicker to not only start once, but start twice and stop, and then maybe get to kick it on the third, the third try. It was always very fluid for me, and I was, and I even had a great snapper and holder in college. So I'm knocking on wood. I was very fortunate, but it is very, very important. If you have to worry about a bad snap or a bad hold, you can't concentrate on what you're trying to do. And the thing that I always was interesting, I could always hear the crowd until I saw the ball snap. Then I couldn't hear anything.
Really?
And that's weird. I know you see that, but that's actually how it was with me. You don't hear nothing.
Blocked it out, huh?
Yeah, I was just concentrating so hard, and now I can't even concentrate on the 2-foot putt.
That's more or harder now, huh?
Yeah, right. It is a lot harder.
Well,
that was really funny. I was able to just zone it out.
Yeah. For the people watching, we heard the story a little bit, but tell us the story of how you became a barefoot kicker.
Well, I went to high school with Mike Renfro, who played high school ball with me, and he went on to play at for the Cowboys and the Oilers. Mike was a year ahead of me in high school, and we were playing a pickup touch game before two-a-days my sophomore year, and I went up and caught a pass and came down on top of his foot, and my left ankle I rolled completely under, just rolled it and tore all the ligaments, and I was in a cast for about 2.5 months, and then when I got out of the cast, I was a running back and a defensive back, and I couldn't run. So I just one day went down on the field and started putting the football a little bit. And I was putting the ball pretty good, and our punter wasn't doing very well. And then the next week I went down there and I was kicking the ball. And I started kicking straight on with a shoe on, and I couldn't hit a bull in the butt with a bass fiddle. I'm telling you, it was that bad. And then I started trying to kick it soccer style, and it was the same. I was making about 2 or 3 out of 10 from 35 yards. And I said, well, I wonder what would happen if I took my shoe off. Of course, I put my sock on, kept my sock on. And I was making 10 out of 10 from 35, from left hash, middle, right hash. Then I'd back up 5. And then I made 10 out of 10 from 40. Then I made 10 out of 10 from 45. Then I made 10 out of 10 from 50. And my coach came over and said, boy, what are you doing? I said, I'm just kicking the ball, coach. I'm just, kind of messing around. He said, okay, well, get out of her way. You're on the practice field now. We got the field. So I didn't think anything about it. And I kept messing around with it. And about a week later, we were going to play a great big football team, Fort Worth Northside High School. And they were a great big bunch of boys. And they were picked to win the district. And he came up to me before the high school pep rally. In high school, I'm 15 years old. I'm barely a sophomore. And he comes up and says, come see me after the pep rally. So I did. And he's on the varsity side, and he opens the big door and says, pull yourself out of jersey. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, you're going to punt and kick for us tonight. And I was like, wow, So we played them, and it was a defensive struggle. And towards the end of the game, I go out and I kick a 38-yard field goal, and we beat them 3-0.
Wow.
And then later on that year, on my birthday, I was 16. I kicked a 51-yarder against Southwest High School. And that was the city record. And then it got broken by Uwe von Schaman, who kicked at Oklahoma for the Dolphins and we played him in the bi-district game, and I kicked a 58-yarder in that game, which was the state record. It's not anymore, but that's kind of how I got my start. It was all because I tore the ligaments in my left ankle and couldn't run, which got me kicking. I call it
about that.
Yeah. I call it the divine injury.
Right?
Yeah.
Got you a
That's how it started for me. And
yeah. Got a career out of it too, right?
I've always kicked in high school and junior high, so that was fun for me to watch. And I'll tell you what's really interesting that I remember is the most, I played in the Super Bowl with Philly and the Super Bowl with New England, the championship games and all that. Was never nervous. The most nervous I've ever been in my life was watching my kids play football.
Oh, wow.
Right.
I mean, I couldn't sit down, and I walk back and forth. My wife goes, Anthony, sit down. And I can't do it. I'm nervous as, it's crazy.
Okay. That's awesome.
It's been fun.
Awesome.
You also had the Alamo Bowl record for field goal?
The Sun Bowl.
Oh, so, I'm sorry. Was it Sun Bowl?
Yeah, I still have the longest record for a field goal kicked in a bowl game. I kicked a 62-yarder in the Sun Bowl, and I was made the MVP of the game, which was
right.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were the MVP of the show tonight, and we appreciate you joining us.
Well, thank you, Carl. Thank you, John. And
You're
the little lady, you take care of them both. You hear?
I'll do my best.
All right. Hey, thanks for having me, and I will get back in touch with you. I'll give Bill Bradley a call, and you know what? God bless y'all. It was fun for me. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Right,
Go Birds.
All right. Go Birds.
All right. Take
See
care.
y'all later.
See you later.
Yep.
Take care. All righty. Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun.
It was great guest.
Yeah.
Great guest. Good job. With all that, we're just about out of time.
I know.
Not that we're on a timer or anything, but great show. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Hopefully, it gets a lot of views, and Facebook and YouTube, like I said this morning, has been good to us. So we thank them. We've been doing this for a while now.
This might be a silly question, but would he be allowed to take his shoe off in today's game?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
I just feel like with all the rules and regulations that they have now with, what you can and can't wear, I mean, I wasn't sure if that would be something that's allowed.
That would have been a great question for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually now, yeah, because you can't wear 2 different color shoes or the different.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
I would think you would be able to.
And also just the reaction from the other team, had they never, encountered him before, and out comes this guy with one shoe on to
Right.
kick the ball. And on the sideline, did he keep his other shoe on, or was he always just out there with one shoe, like ready to go at a moment's notice? But
I don't think he had the other shoe. No.
He just never had it.
No. He
They
may
just
have had.
never
I
did
think he
them.
was saying he had a sock, and the reason he didn't mention it there when we were talking when he was here, he took the sock off because in Texas it rained a lot.
Yeah.
And so it would always get wet, and he was tired of it having to change his socks because they were wet. He's like, screw it, just take it off and kick without it. So, that's why he had the sock
Right.
on before.
So he just stood on the sideline, just one foot just out.
Well, they have the heaters, so I mean, I think on those benches that you could stick your feet into it. So I mean, you might have had it, inside the heater thing. So
next time, I got a funny feeling he's going to be a guest again. We'll have to save those questions.
Yep, exactly, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Hey, great Wednesday night. I hope everybody has the heaters cranked up because it's supposed to be another cold night. I know I got mine cranked up because this silly ass is a cold old man. So I do not like the cold anymore.
Yeah.
So, but anything, closing comments, thoughts, predictions for Sunday? I got the Birds winning. I'm not making any predictions on scores. I just need a win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's playoffs. Yeah, you're not looking for the prettiness of it. Just like you said, just get the win and get by and play for the next week. And
I'll take that Jake Elliott 50-yard field goal to win the game and walk it off. So I don't care.
Make it a 49-yarder. All
right. All right.
He's only made one over 50 yards this year. So.
Well, there you go. So.
And it wasn't exactly a 50-yarder. So.
It's all good.
Yeah, I certainly hope it's not a very nerve-wracking game the way it was this past Sunday. But it scares me. A team hot at the right time, which is the Commanders. That's scary. We've been there before. In 2008, the Phillies got hot at the right time, and we had no business probably being there, but there we were and won the whole thing. And so. Yeah, John, when you said you'd prefer to play the Lions, I guess maybe I would have too. But a team hot at the right time is a little scary. So
yeah, it is.
I don't want them to diminish the opponent, thinking, oh, it's just the Commanders. They've been horrible for my whole life, basically.
Well, 91 was the last time they were at this far. So.
Yeah, so I don't want them to go into it thinking that. I doubt that they are, but hopefully they just keep their foot to the gas the whole time and never let up once.
Yeah, I mean, because just like you said, how it came down to the wire. I mean, Barkley had 205 yards rushing, and we were down to the last play of the game, basically. Where we could have gone the wrong way because of a couple,
Absolutely. That game was one wrong play from ending very differently.
Right. And so yeah, we got to make sure we get all the extra points made. Have Jake Elliott. It's going to be a nicer weather-wise game. As far as it might be cold, but in the 40s, but there shouldn't be any snow and that kind of stuff. So, which lends to a weaker team possibly being able to beat you, a better team with the weather situation. Right. So
defense wins championships,
as Tony said. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely, and we got the number one defense. So every time we've had the number one defense, we've been in the Super Bowl.
All right.
And no rookie quarterbacks ever played in the Super Bowl. So.
Well, let's keep that one alive.
0-5. 0-5. Let's make it 0-6.
So. All right.
Yep. We got to keep it going.
All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. I know we did. I knew Tony would be a great guest. He has a lot of great stories. We didn't hear half of them, so we'll definitely have him back again. And you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday night, yes. And we'll be right back at it again Wednesday night, talking about an Eagles victory
and a Super Bowl appearance.
There you go. Take care, guys. Thank you.